everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm sharing with you my first impressions of the Monochrome Manga Club series reads for the month of November. The Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble. Each month we read 2 first-in-a-series books, and we are doing 2 series reads. I will only be talking about the 2 first-in-a-series books. In this video, if you'd like to hear me talk about our series reads, I will be talking about those in my Desus 19 diary entry for the week. So in November, our first-in-a-series reads were Mission Yozakura Family, Volume 1 by Hitsuji Gondaira, published by Viz Rated Teen. And we also read Volume 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. This one is published by Viz and rated Older Teen. So I will only be talking about these 2 volumes in this series. We also read, though, just in case you want to hear my thoughts on these volumes, Volumes 9 and 10 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This one is by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz Rated Teen. And then we are also doing a series read of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. We are on Volume 8. If I could hold it the right side up. This is by Naoko Takeuchi, published by Kodansha, Rated Teen. So I will be talking about those in my Desus 19 diaries, like I said. But in this video, we will only be talking about Mission Yozakura Family and Jujutsu Kaisen. So let's start off with Mission Yozakura Family, since I have a physical copy here. This is a series about a boy named Taiyo. He is an orphan, and his best friend, Mutsumi, has kind of like always been there for him. And a series of events leads him to joining Mutsumi's family, and he ends up finding out that Mutsumi is from a family of spies. So Mutsumi has several siblings, and all of them have special abilities, and the way that this family kind of works is that the head of the family is the one that does not have abilities, and in this family, that's Mutsumi. Obviously, she's a high school girl, and there are other families of spies and of spy organizations who are kind of looking to take the Yozakura family out. So, Taiyo needs to work on himself and build up his strength and his ability to be able to protect Mutsumi as part of this family, as well as figure out how to become a spy and do all of that stuff. Because now that he is part of the family, he is also a target. So this is a series that I started reading on the Shonen Jump app a few years ago when they had just started releasing the chapters, 3 chapters a week. It was a bit much for me to keep up with, adulting and things like that. And so I ended up falling behind. But I did read several chapters and really, really enjoyed it. I was hoping that Viz would bring this out for publication because it definitely seemed like one that I was going to enjoy a lot and wanted to collect. And so when I had seen that they were going to be publishing this one physically, I was super excited. So obviously, I've started collecting it. I will say that this particular volume kind of has a bit of a focus on Mutsumi's older brother, who seems to have an unhealthy relationship with her. Or an unhealthy obsession, I would say. Personally, I think that is a ploy. The brother has a reason for being the way he is with her. It is told to you why he is kind of overprotective and overbearing. There is a reason, and you do find that out in this volume. But I don't think that he has, true, inappropriate thoughts about Mutsumi. I think it's a ploy. I think he does that to ward people off, to protect her. But, that's just kind of how I'm reading it. You may read it different. I just don't think that his actions are, that's how he is. I think there's a reason behind it. And I think that's the only way he knows to be able to keep her safe. there's definitely a lot of action already from the get-go in this volume, because Tayo is not only going through trainings, each of the family members are kind of putting him through trainings so that he can get better at, like, picking locks or being able to sense things, learning how to walk in a way where he cannot be perceived as, coming down a hall or something like that. He is being trained by these family members in different things. There obviously are attempts on Mutsumi's life already from the get-go in this volume. And it's just really interesting to see how the family members all work together, what their abilities are, because like I said, there are quite a few of them, and how they go about thwarting the actions of the people who are trying to do harm to Mutsumi. There are several comedic moments in here, even, when there's heavy fighting and there's attempts on Mutsumi's life, there is some comedy thrown in that kind of lightens up the situation. But I really enjoyed this volume. I didn't remember everything that happened in this, but I remembered a little bit, and I still enjoyed it. I would say as much as I remember enjoying it when I was reading it digitally. So I'm looking forward to getting more volumes of this and rereading it. And yeah, it was super enjoyable for me. I hope that you do decide to check this volume out and that you kind of read past the whole inappropriate brotherly kind of person feeling kind of inappropriately towards his younger sister. Like I said, I didn't read it like that. I do feel like he has other motives for doing the things that he's doing, and that this whole, like, obsession with her is kind of like an outwardly, like, ploy. I do feel like his reasonings are to keep her safe and not that he feels inappropriately towards her. So if you've read this volume, definitely let me know what you think on that. And I hope that you don't let the fact that he does act that way early on prevent you from reading the rest of the volume, because it is a really interesting series. There's a lot of, like, family dynamics are interesting. There's definitely this feeling of found family, especially with Tayo. You see him, even in just this one volume, grow as a person, how the loss of his family has affected him socially, and how joining this family kind of helps him grow and change. It's just a really good series, and I hope that you do check it out. So that's enough of that for me. I'm just by me talking about it, how much I've enjoyed it. So I do hope you check out Mission Yozakura Family, because I think it's really interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. So, Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is not one that was on my radar. This was recommended by the Manga Club members. They had suggested it as a monthly selection, and I do try to take their suggestions into consideration because they are the ones that are reading with me. I want them to be able to enjoy what they are reading. And I think if they pick a title that they're really going to enjoy reading, then the discussion will be livelier. So Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty popular right now. I'm sure you've heard about it. I really didn't know much about it going in, other than that the hype was really huge on the series. And normally on series like that, I tend to stay away, as far away as possible, because I tend to not enjoy these titles that are super hyped as much as everybody else. And so, you kind of get that feeling that, you have an unpopular opinion. And I don't like to have unpopular opinions, so I just don't read them. But because the Manga Club was super enthusiastic about this title, I told them okay. So I ended up reading this one on the Shonen Jump app, because I wasn't sure how much I was going to enjoy it. Like I said, there's a lot of hype on this series. Normally when there's a lot of hype, I don't enjoy it, and I didn't want to invest in something that I was probably not going to enjoy. I will tell you, I thought I wasn't going to enjoy this. And I do have a subscription to Shonen Jump app, so I might as well utilize that, right? So I did. This story is about a high school boy who is attending a school where he has joined like a supernatural club. They like study like occultic things and supernatural things. And he is very good at like athletic stuff. He's got this inherent ability. He's just good at it regardless. And things happen where there's been strange things going on at the school, and it kind of piques the interest of the Supernatural Club. And it turns out that there's actually a cursed object on school property. The Supernatural Club ends up finding said artifact, and they don't know what it is, but in kind of looking into it and, you know, poking and prodding at it, they unleash a demon onto the school. This particular like thing is so powerful that it like radiates this energy, and it puts the lives of these club members in danger. And so our main character ends up trying to find help and runs into a guy who has come to the school to try to stop this from happening, but comes a little too late. And he ends up working with this guy to try to contain the situation. Ends up, the only way to do it is to kind of become a demon himself. That's the only way. And so without any thought or anything, he's like, yes, I'll do it, to just try to save his friends because he doesn't have too many of them. And so he becomes a demon, and thus starts his journey into finding the other pieces of this thing and vanquishing it. I actually enjoyed this volume a lot more than I thought I would, though I do have a little bit of an issue with it, and it's just like a grossness factor for me. So I know this isn't going to be an issue for a lot of people, but for me, it was a little bit kind of gross. So in order for our main character to become this demon, have these demonic abilities, he needs to ingest something. And when he did it the first time, it kind of grossed me out, but I was okay with it, thinking that it was only going to be the one time that he was going to be doing that. It turned my stomach. I did have a little bit of a gag reflex, and I thought, you know what? It's okay. This is not going to happen all the time. Little did I know that in this series, that is going to happen several more times, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to handle that. So that's really my only complaint about this series, though, is that grossness factor. If I'm able to look past that, I really enjoyed what happened. I enjoyed seeing how this story came about. I enjoyed seeing how our main character figures out how to fight the demon when he really knows nothing. This volume does include a death in the family, just so you know, in case that is a trigger for you. Our main character does experience that in this volume. But I just thought it was so interesting. I really enjoy supernatural stories. I enjoy stories about ghosts and demons and supernatural clubs and things. I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes. I'm not looking forward to the ingesting of things, though, because I don't know how much I can take of that. And again, that's just me. I might be able to look past it, but I won't know for sure unless I read some more. And at this point, I do think I'm going to read some more. I do not think I will be purchasing the volume, though, yet. I need to figure out if I'm going to be able to read this series without getting sick to my stomach. And, I do read a lot of things that are gory. Lots of, like, decapitated bodies or bodies in the process of being decapitated, gruesome murder scenes and things like that. It's the ingestion of things that they're just some things I cannot take. And so, yeah. I don't know why, it just affected me a lot more than I thought it was going to. Because like I said, I do read quite gruesome things. I've seen quite gruesome things on page. But maybe it was just a one-off thing. Maybe that was it. But even now when I think about those scenes, because it happens twice in this volume, I get a little nauseous. So, yeah, other than that, I thought the story was interesting. It did remind me a little bit of Blue Exorcist or Noragami, because there are dog demons who kind of help out our one guy from the organization who comes to the school to try to prevent a disaster from happening. And the dog demons kind of look similar from those mangas to the ones that are in here. And how he uses them is also similar. So I enjoyed that. It really kind of took me back to those series, which I enjoy both of those series quite a bit. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this story's going to go. It kind of hints at an endgame for our main character already in this first volume. I'm hoping that doesn't stay true to the end, because if that's the case, I don't know that I'd want to read a series where it ends that way. But yeah, I have to believe that it's probably not going to end that way. But I did really enjoy everything else that I read in this volume besides those two little scenes that made my stomach upset. But it was much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I was very surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. And so, yes, I'll definitely be reading at least another volume to see how I feel about that and my issues with it. But it was really interesting, and I was very surprised. So I'm glad that the Manga Club members made me read it, because it was more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. So that's everything as far as the two first in a series volumes go. Like I said, if you want to hear my thoughts on the 2 volumes of Demon Slayer or volume 8 of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, you can check out my DSIS 19 diaries for this week. So that will be up on Wednesday. Before I let you go, I do want to let you know what our December selections of the month will be. We do have a Discord now, so if you'd like to read these selections and chat with us about them, the chat threads will always be open the day after our Manga Club meeting occurs. And so you can join that if you'd like. The link is down in the description box below. But we will be reading Volume 1 of The Geek X Hitman. This is by Kodai, published by Yen Press, rated teen. This one is about a hitman who is really, really good at his job. And one day, during the course of his work, he comes across a really adorable figurine and then just needs to know where it comes from and ends up becoming an otaku. So I thought this sounded super interesting, and yeah, it just came out a couple months ago, I think, and so we will be reading this one. I'm super excited because it sounds cute, but I think it'll also be interesting to see such like a gruff guy who's like a hitman like be really into cutesy things. And seeing what types of anime, mangas, and games he gets into, like what attracts his attention. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the other volume we're going to be reading is Villains Are Destined to Die. This is by Suol. Original story by Guan Gyoul. I think that's how you pronounce the name. If it's not, I apologize. This is a manhwa. It's published by Ise Press, which is an imprint of Yen Press. This is a full color volume, and it is an otome game isekai story. So one of my manga club members is super interested in reading this one. We were going to read it for the month of November, but the publication date got pushed back, so we will be reading it for December instead. Really looking forward to this one. The artwork is just gorgeous, and I'm really loving that color work. And so yes, super excited about this. It says, a villain living life in hard mode, whose every path leads to death. So yeah, I think that's going to be really entertaining as well. This volume is super heavy too, but I think it's because of those full color pages. Really, really excited for that one. So on top of that, we will be continuing our series reads. So we'll be reading volumes 11 and 12 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. And we will also be reading volume 9 of Sailor Moon in the Eternal Edition by Naoko Takeuchi. So like I said, if you'd like to read these volumes and discuss any of them with us, the Discord is linked down in the description box below. And that's pretty much all I have for you today. So let me know down in the comments below if you'll be joining us for December's selections. If you have read November's volumes, let me know what you thought of them, or if you are planning to check out those series. If nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a rose emoji or some kind of flower emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated. That would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.